All right, let's get into our next discussion now. Reactions are still coming in after the Nigerian customs interception of yet another set. Reactions are still coming in after the Nigerian customs interception of yet another set of high-caliber guns.
Now, port users are warning that such illegal importations will continue until government deploys technology for cargo clearance process in the ports. And TVC News correspondent Ifunanya Eze reports.
The interception of yet another container load of high-caliber rifles into the country, the third discovery this year, has no doubt alarmed Nigerians. This is more so considering that cargoes imported into the country are often examined manually. Port users are mindful of the limitations of manual operations, especially in this instance where there is a possibility that such consignment could slip into the country unnoticed. They believe an effective automated cargo clearance process could check the trend.
In developed countries, physical contact with the container is very minimal. The machine picks whatever they want to pick. All the containers will pass through the scanners. Anyone that is suspected to carry something injurious to trade will be kept aside for further investigation.
Scanners must be purchased for us to be seen to be serious. If not, expect that it is likelihood that the customs may discover arms and ammunition again before the end of this year.
Even as the Comptroller General of Customs, Hamid Ali, says that scanners have been ordered and are being built, port users believe that private sector involvement is needed to provide back-end support.
The immediate step is to repair the ones that we have, put them back into service, and then we're working on procurement of the new of new ones that will now replace these new old ones.
Even if you put 6 over 6 months, we'll go back to square one because of inability to maintain and because of inability to even service and put them in serviceable condition. So there is need to involve private sector to provide that back-end support while customs does the front-end operation.
In view of the recurring illegal importation of arms from Turkey, it has been suggested that all importations from that country be thoroughly scrutinized and possible restrictions placed on that trade route. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
That sets the tone for the discussion this morning. Now, a lot of comments have been rolling out after the discovery of arms again. We have a security consultant, Femi Aratukun Ali, with us in the studio. Femi, it's good to have you home from the UK.
Yeah, it's good to be back home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I know you've been following this development. This is the 4th major interception of arms in Nigeria this year, 2017. The first one was really mind-boggling, and a lot of Nigerians were surprised. But the second one, people were like, yet again, and then the third, and then the fourth. From what you have been monitoring and been analyzing so far, did Nigeria really prepare, or is it surprising that these kind of arms are coming in at this time when people are still complaining of scanners at the ports?
Well, see, thanks again for having me on your platform this morning. Good morning, Nigerians. It's really a shame, and it's disgraceful in so many ways that we can actually look at it. We are not yet serious, we are not yet there, and I think we lack the proper understanding of what security is all about. We have the land security, the sea security, the airport security. I think in all these 3 sectors, we seem to have failed. If we're talking about Lagos State alone, how about Port Harcourt, how about Calabar, how about Cross Rivers? Let us look at the major riverine areas. What exactly have we been able to do? Now, let us go back to the northern area. We're talking about just pump action right now. What about things coming up from the north? From Syria, from Libya, from Sudan, coming in, creeping in, and we don't even know at all.
Because the borders are so porous.
Look, the word porous
is an understatement.
It's an understatement. It's an open basket. Wow. Don't let us deceive each other. And I think, if I must be honest with you, the office of the Control General or the Custom Head is actually not fit for purpose at the moment. And I think the president of the country should be seriously concerned to have something to do about it. This is not
I need
about...
you to say that again, and why?
Well, 4 interceptions.
In 1 year?
In 1 year.
Is that enough reason to be alarmed? Or is it a case of, you know, we really should be bothered about the one that got away, like you just said? What about all the other, you know,
areas
borders,
we don't see?
you know, the ones that we don't see?
I think what we should be concerned about is this. We need to understand the type of security training we're actually giving to our security personnel within the government sector. We need to restructure it. We need to look at it from the angle of, okay, what exactly are we missing that is actually not there? Why are we having all these failings? Perhaps 4 is a very high number. In the volatile situation we find ourselves.
Isn't that some commendation for the, without the absence of scanners, without with all of the seeming corruption even in the system, the customer was able to intercept this?
For God's sake, let us leave the idea of scanners alone. This is 21st century, and Nigeria is just talking about scanners. As far back as Obasanjo was in government, I think we also have learned from Oka School what led to the whole saga, what led to the failure, and a whole lot of things. And right now, what we can be talking about within the seaport, one of the hub of Nigerian economy is now talking about scanners.
What should we be talking about if not scanners?
We should be talking about...
Most of the people that responded in that report were harping on scanners.
I think, to be honest with you, it's shocking that these days we're just talking about scanners. It should be a thing of the past.
We should have had them long time ago.
That's just the result. Because we fail to have them, then the result is this. Everybody knows what the system is, what the porosity is all about, and they're actually working again with the custom officers. You cannot do things like this without them. Let us look at it from this angle very well. Who are those importing the stuffs? A poor man would never do that.
He wouldn't even have the resources.
It's the big guns. Pardon the
big guns bringing in the guns.
Yeah.
Now, this is 2017, and from Nigeria today, I can start hearing people talking about 2019 election. What does that tell us? It's saying we are passing a message. We have seen during the last election how people were actually parading around with all this kind of weapons as well. How many of the political leaders seem to have been calling to control that, you know what, if you want to go on your political rallies or whatever, we don't want to see this, and that. None. Again, let us look at the police sector. In a situation like this, the customs should at least put the case forward to the police and let them do their job.
Well, we had the former spokesperson of the customs here, and we asked him, and he said, actually, theirs is to intercept. It's not their responsibility to prosecute and investigate. So they hand them over to the police and the SSS and those who are responsible for investigating.
They have a department that does all that?
Yeah, of course. Theirs is to hand over. Because by law, they are not created to investigate.
Do you actually know there's a due process to face before you even call the media to come and do all this? Number one, you need to look at it this way. Once an information is actually given out, you want to see who is actually bringing it in, which country is it from, the wages and everything. Turkey. Yeah, okay, from Turkey, that's fine. Have we actually been in contact with the Turkish embassy and called them to order that, look, we have a business bilateral relationship with you guys, and this is what is going on in our country from your end, perhaps maybe from a group of people or from a company. We want to know all this. Please, do not let the customs start giving us half-baked statements or half-baked
Let me take you up on what you just said now. Are you saying that the NCS, the Nigeria Customs, of course headed by Hamid Ali, was too hasty in, making public their arms interceptions? Should there be a whole lot more?
I think this is just a cheap pressure publicity.
Okay.
Yes. You want to deliver to your governor, you want to deliver to your head, then the next thing is this, we've seen 661 illegal weapons, let's bring it out. What about the investigation? What about the tracking? Why not wait and see where this whole stuff is actually going into?
It's mind-boggling because, I mean, what is 2,201 pump action rifles, intercepted in 1 year, compared to what we've been told that 70% of the small and light weapons in the West African sub-region actually is in Nigeria. Well, 350 million out of 500 small arms are in Nigeria.
Okay, you can't really blame people bringing all these stuff in.
Why
How
not?
secure,
Why shouldn't we
hold on,
blame the people?
let me tell you one thing. Let's look at it from two sides now. You want to secure your life. You've called the emergency number given by the CP of Lagos State and it's not working. Do you want to die just because something is actually not working? I'm not saying they are doing the right thing, but in a way, we've allowed so much porosity to happen in this country, and this is the result of what we're having.
But when it comes to security,
yeah,
the law also provides that if you want to have arms, there are proper ways of going about it.
That's fine.
So and we've not heard from anyone who said, I applied for arms and I was denied. We've not heard from anyone.
Oh, well, because you are not really doing your underground investigation very well to even see how people are actually crying over things like this. I have heard people say things like this, that look, we want this, we're not getting it.
That is the license.
That is the license.
Okay.
The procedure, the bureaucracy, everything they have to follow is just too lengthy.
But the UN is saying that arms sales treaty and, you know, the issue of tougher licenses requirements need to be looked into seriously. The licensing should be really tough.
I'm not saying the licenses shouldn't be tough, but before you actually issue out licenses, the question is, who are you issuing it for? What exactly is the threat against this person? You want to know that how trained is this person that actually want to carry this firearm?
So isn't that why the process is not as easy for anyone to come up with
Because we just don't
owning
even
arms?
have the facilities to even do all this.
Fine. So in that case, you agree with me that the process has to be long. So anyone who comes out to complain that I wasn't issued a license, it means there are issues, because the authorities, we've also heard people who have applied and they have arms and they renew their licenses every year.
The point is this: the security government in Nigeria failed to understand the proper way to secure this country. The arms ends up with who? It's going to end up in the hands of who? The youths.
But the point is, we're not even talking about legal licensed weapons.
Yeah.
We're talking about
the
illegal weapons.
You see, the
coming
illegal ones,
into
that is what I'm saying, that what does it cost? What's the name given to them? When you want to register your company in Nigeria,
Corporate
Affairs Commission, in looking into which company is actually bringing stuff in. Do you actually know there's a program they can actually set up called Name and Shame? You want to know these companies? They live around us. All these people live around us. Why not name them and shame them and pull them back to book? Pull them back to justice. Bring them back and let people see where your investigations are actually going.
All right. Now,
you know the funniest thing? Everything ends within the seaport. Are we going to hear the details of how and where all this stuff are actually going? Do you know maybe they have even a factory somewhere being stored?
All right. Well, the customs spokesman, former spokesman we had, said that investigations were on, and it is not there. It is not within the customs purview to tell the people what the outcome of these investigations are, because it's not within their powers to investigate to the latter. They intercept and hand over. That is what they said. Now, at the ongoing UN General Assembly, we understand that by the sideline, there's going to be a meeting between the Nigerian Authority and the Turkish authorities on this regard. What should be the direction of the kind of discussion they should have?
I think, to be honest with you, the best way they have to go about it is this: whatever you want to do with my country, please put us in the framework of it. Do not go out and start doing backdoor dealings that you know will definitely cripple the economy in this country.
But what if this
totally private sector
if it's not a government dealings? What if
of course, yes, because everything, you know what, everything that we do in this country or we do from outside the country passes through a department.
So you would agree with those who are already saying that maybe what Nigeria needs to do is to put a total embargo on importations from Turkey until we can actually get this solved?
I think we have a body and we have like a department within the Nigerian presidency that handles such issues like this. So the question is what exactly are they doing? I'm not saying put an embargo, because obviously there might be reasons why you're having some of these weapons in, but the question again is this: how real are these weapons? Could
but the real question is, why Turkey? Why are they all coming from Turkey?
Because
is this government sponsored? Are there other undertones?
Remember what I said before when we started this program? An hungry man will never do stuff like this. So there's somebody in Nigeria behind this. Could it be within the government? We don't know. Could it be a private bodies? We have no clue. So this is why we need to have an in-depth investigation about why are we having these stuffs coming in. Look at it this way. We've just seen how many containers being intercepted. Per 4?
Yeah.
How many more?
But of course, in 2013, 2010 actually,
Yeah.
13 containers
13,
headed for
yeah.
Banjul was intercepted.
Okay.
So it didn't start today.
It's not something that started today, but the question is this: are we hungry for war, or what exactly are we really hungry for? If we want to secure our borders, let us know we want to secure our borders. But the problem I'm having with Nigerian security government is we are not really investing the money into the right resources so that we can secure our economy. Rather, we talk about it, but we don't do it. We are not really proactive in this country. We are only being reactive. And we just react to all subjects, and we think that is the best way.
All right. We're here. We're where we are right now already.
Yeah.
Even though you said that these things are things we should have been talking about years ago and not now, but we are here right now. If steps have to be taken to put things right, where do you think years ago and not now, but we are here right now? If steps have to be taken to put things right, where do you think we should all start from when it comes to security?
We should all start from security orientation, security education in schools, within the community, within the private bodies, within companies. We all need to sit down and talk about it.
And what kind of collaboration? Because certainly the government will not be able to do all that by itself.
A lot of companies are actually coming in with proposals that, look, let us do this stuff. We have this idea. This is how best to do it. But the government is not listening. Or perhaps some set of people within the government, even in Lagos State, Nigeria, any way you can think of it, are actually not just putting their heads there. I think a lot of these so-called government bodies, officials, are self-centered.
Okay, so now that we have this problem on our hands, how does government even ensure that it disposes of these illegal weapons when they come in to the country? How do you even begin to dispose of them to ensure that they don't get back
into the hands you're preventing them from getting back into?
Do you know what? What does it cost the custom, the Nigerian police and the DSS to set up probably a media program to at least let us even see how it's being crushed down? Destroy it. Remember when the amnesty situation came up in the Niger Delta area? Should they be destroyed
or handed over to the military who are fighting insurgency and all kinds of militancy everywhere?
Are they trained to use pump action? That's the pump action. It's just a ricochet bullet that's going to come out. So the fighting firepower of that stuff is not as strong as what we think. Yes, it's going to make a big bang noise, blah, 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 and stuff like that.
But it's not as sophisticated as the AK-47.
Like AK-47 or, PMGP and all the rest.
So the herdsmen killings, the kidnappings, the armed robbery, and all the rest of them, this may actually be the places where there's guns.
Well, you can actually say that, but let us look at the security investigations done by the herdsmen and all the rest. AK-47 seems to be out there on the loose. But the question is this: when you are in a police force or military or whatsoever, a certain weapon is assigned to you, you sign for it, it's got a role, it's got a model number and everything. Let us look at the weapons we've seized in the past. Who does it belong to? Again, let us look at it this way. Where is the weapon right now? Are we putting it in for investigation or for educative purposes at the end of the day? Some kind of let us have, you know what, we fail to have a situation whereby we have a good storage facilities to have an archive for stuff like this. So at the end of the day, weapons are out. Look at the way the customers actually even parading them. If it's safe, if it's not safe, they don't even know. They're just bringing it out straight from the package, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but they've not been, not all of them have been coupled as the case.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I can tell you, I'm a security expert. I'm trained when it comes to weapon safety. What they did there was completely wrong. I had a discussion way before my coming in London with one Mr. Abdul Karim Aziz, and we discussed seriously well about it. And he said, Femi, do your bit, try what you can do. I've spoken to so many MPs about Nigerian insecurity system and everything. We have been in connection, as in talking about this issue. I think the security system failed the Nigerian people. So we see ourselves as we're not safe. Then the question is this: do we have a border in Nigeria? No, we don't have a border in Nigeria at the moment.
All right. Well, we look forward to better days. We know that one way or the other, all the agencies, government say they're working, agencies are working. So we hope their work or their working is good enough to secure Nigeria.
I really hope so. That is, if they can work with private security sector so that they can get more enlightenment into how to place the country better.
All right. Femi Aratokunale, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Right.